All right, cyber traders, welcome on back to close out our week here. Again, keep in mind we got a 3-day weekend lined up with President's Day coming up on Monday. But hey, today, Friday, February 16th. Great to see all of our students and members here just joining us inside our trading room. Mark, we had Margaret just a moment ago. We have Chuck and Brian as I scroll up from here. Great to see all of them. We had Kathleen, Leda, Vince, all of our students and members alike just joining us right now, and then otherwise on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. That being at Cyber Trading You. Right away, as always, just on the lower left, just at Cyber Trading You. Be a friend, tell a friend, look to follow or hit the subscribe button right to our YouTube channel there. And with that said, hey, heading into the afternoon, normally pre-holiday, you should not be expecting anything. I say typically or normally that is because, well, most people have school off on a holiday. Kids do at least, and they're going to be caught up with family. And a lot of traders are going to be more inactive. Setting themselves up for the 3-day weekend, maybe flipping this Friday into a 4-day weekend. With that said, but this has been a bit different. This has been a little bit different of a week, right? Just coming off of last week and the hollow stock that ended up making that one pop, right? That one pop. Yeah, that one pop. This thing ended up making another big breakout, another big pop today. I couldn't believe it. I mean, maybe after this week, I should or could have, but geez, to see this type of stock make another big move, a second win type of move that ended up breaking new highs and running all the way up as close to 100 as you could probably get, ended up coming back down though, right? So, hey, for as expensive as any trade looks to become, the order book fills out a lot. Level 3 thins out a lot, I should say, thins out. You don't tend to see much volume out there. The more expensive any one stock gets, let alone something that is as low float, low volume as we see here. So, ended up making a crazy move up, but it pulled back down. The same was to be said, though, across the board. We had the CPOP trade, CPOP from earlier today. That was just one of a few as well. I know that BMR ended up also making another big pop. This one didn't really break any sort of highs, though, right? I mean, it was a nice little pop as far as today goes, day trade, but compared to the move that it made back on Monday, obviously, this is what we should more so expect. That hollow trade was an anomaly. That was kind of once in a rarity. You tend to see, that type of second breakout to see the higher high. This will probably continue to pull back lower heading into this afternoon, if not Tuesday morning when we come back. So this is where you want to take the money and run. This is where you want to just get out before you're on the top of the roller coaster looking down. And hey, this is also say I've been on a bunch of coaching sessions throughout this week, and especially with some of our new traders joining us here. The last thing that I want you to do is to lose your shirt on a trade like this. That's much more difficult to get out on. I know that looking at the hollow trade, it's to say, man, I wish I could have held on from $20. It hit like 98. I mean, we tend to see these stocks maybe not hollow, but 100% mover, 200% mover, pretty much every day of the week now, right? Hollow is what, like 5,000% gainer from last week, if anything, but otherwise, we would want you to focus on something that has real buyers and sellers out there on the order book for. Hey, something like SOUN. We've been trading really from yesterday, ended up making a great push for us yesterday. I mean, even earlier today, this ended up making a phenomenal breakout, popped above resistance, namely off of 367, 375. It's not the biggest percent gainer, wasn't the craziest move of all time, but we ended up seeing about a 30, 35 cent push up to resistance at 4. Previous resistance became support, moved back up a little bit. Now here's where it failed to try and make the higher high, though, and even a stock like this, well, it's going to pull back down, lower high, perhaps a lower low inbound now. It failed to make the move back up to 4. So, probably going to put this back on our side list here, SOUN, but that's just more for direction, right? I mean, we've done really well also on stocks like CLSK, crypto stocks, Bitcoin affiliated stocks. I mean, these stocks just have at least a more filled in order book. Looking at level 3 here or otherwise on level 4, see just tight spread, filled in order book. We don't need to be caught off by the shiny object in the room, especially when it's already moved up as much as it had moved up. Even GXAI. I mean, look at this thing from earlier today. Popped up after 8:30 in the morning, went from 20-25 cents up to, I mean, nearly $2, got close up towards like 170-ish perhaps there. Big trees fall hard, right? This actually has a pretty liquid order book, but that's because it's dirt cheap. It's 72 cents now. So you got to just try and find a stock that's not just moving up, but has volume out there, buyers and sellers out there all together. All right, so without further ado, just going to make it simple here. Just going to run right from top to bottom here otherwise. Hollow and GXAI, we just spoke about both already, and CPOP. So we're not going to really follow those here for this afternoon. There could be new stocks that pop up as well. So I don't mind following something that's up like 50, 100, 200, 300%, but give me volume, give me orders out there. You know what I mean? So H2, also this one as well from pre-market, more so, ended up dying off after the 8 o'clock move. We tried one more attempt on it, but couldn't break higher. Look at where it's at now. Easy gap fill here. So, ooh, this N Knox trade, NNOX, this has definitely impressed me. This trade impressed the hell out of me today. It ended up beginning to make that move back up. Okay, that's fine, given how much it popped and then dropped yesterday. I actually appreciate the volatility and the range. So the morning session, we were beginning to follow it here up towards 1150, and then really from there, actually, I don't have the line there at the time, but at 12. And wow, this thing just kept breaking higher and higher. Even right now, still sticking near the HOD or near $14, that is. So I'll easily put NNOX back on our list here for the afternoon. Looking healthy, nice move back up. But most stocks probably won't look like that. So we got to be diligent here and see what else we can get right here. Well, not going to really move further from this. So PHAT, nice trend, really nice push up towards 10. You'd figure 10 being more of a decade level number, psychological level. That likely is going to be a strong top to work with here. Now, if it breaks 10 pretty cleanly from this point, not to just say it's going to keep pushing up so easily, but we'll see if 10 can flip into support. There isn't really, you got a little level there. Little level right around like 1135, 1140-ish from the daily chart back from last year, but that's just a small support instance. Once it broke below it, it crashed. So the more this really does push up, perhaps this price could act as daily chart resistance, but let's focus on 10 first. I'll add this here too. NNOX and, well, for lack of better phrasing, FAT, PHAT. APLT. Hey, this one also, this has actually been a good gap fill. I think this is the one that I was referring to earlier as the gap fill, right? Yeah, from back of end of 21, beginning of 22 here, dropped off from basically 850, 870-ish down. So, it didn't really get as close to that peak here at this time. Got close to 6, not 675. It's trying to make its move back up right now. It's definitely making a rounded bottom, pushing back up to resistance. You got $5 right there alongside that, the VWAP. So, you know what? I'll kind of come back to this at the end. This is the APLT trade. If it ends up showing more signs of life from here, then I wouldn't mind slipping it on. All right, TTD, pretty flat. MULN. This stock may have had a reverse stock split recently because last I checked in with this trade, it was like dirt cheap, like pennies. So probably has done one pretty recently. It is up like 23 to 24% right now. Hey, if we've seen all of these short squeezes of late, all these crazy stocks making these pumps up, it's not like I had the stock in mind heading into this meeting, but now that I'm looking at it now, actually up 23 to, and a half percent, I'll give this a look. It's a little thin on the order book, but I'll see if this MULN can keep squeezing up here throughout the afternoon. Ooh, this is a familiar name. That's why I clicked on it here. SGMO. I reckon I forgot how cheap this became over time too. Take your eyes off a stock for a little bit there, but making as good of a push as we would really want to see it this time. Probably going to put this on the top of our list for the time being. Really good trade here up to 150. All right, so we're starting to get a couple of the runners to pop up right now. So that's what I was saying. We might have a more active Friday afternoon, especially pre-holiday. Getty, not much there. TWOU, speaking of drop offs, that's kind of what I had in mind with like, maybe a potential short squeeze, but below $1. We're not going to really focus on this just yet. Lunar pop and drop there. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up from the gainer side. Not much else that I saw that was looking good. We got a bunch of us just joining us on YouTube today. I appreciate that, folks. Once again, at Cyber Trading U. If you're not already inside our live trading room, that is, then at least be with us on YouTube. At Cyber Trading U is our handle there. Let me know if there's any stocks that you see that's looking good, and of course, for students already with us like Michael, Alex, Lawrence, Margaret, as well. I mean, kind of all hands on deck right now. With as much as we see up percentage-wise, number 50 being up 12.5%. It's probably a lot more that I didn't really catch just yet. All right, so let's see what we could add here from the loser side, though, first. CPS dropping off. Actually, take a look at this trade. The order book, way too thin. Can't really trade this here. Pretty good chart. Interesting chart, little spotty, and that's no surprise given the low volume, really, but that could have been a potential short, lower high, lower low situation. Roku, more expensive, doesn't really drive me away from the trade. It's just a little choppy right now, so I'm not as keen to it right now, really. SMCI, I know Fausto's happy to see this one down now because, well, he's out of his swing trade. He closed out on the SMCI earlier today, wrote that to all of us in the chat. He was with me on the mic earlier this morning too. So, of course, right around that 1,000 level, we were looking to see resistance build, and here's the drop off. So, actually, I was looking for a pullback on SMCI from 1,000 yesterday. I didn't get it, and that's fine. But well, if I stuck on this trade today, this would have been the short I wanted to see. So this actually could have paid really handsomely as a short today. Just way too expensive. Way too expensive. Yelp PACB open here. This is actually shortable for myself and down, but it's actually hyper liquid. This stock is too liquid for my liking. That makes it too slow. It's like watching the grass grow right there. Weight Watchers dropping off. Ooh, this one. Not at all-time lows. All right, we'll pass on it. All right, so let me know if there's anything else looking good, folks. Up, down, left, right, more than 5%. Just either way, I mean, really, if there's anything else looking good across the board. Again, we're kind of pre-holiday here, pre-weekend, obviously, but we got President's Day on Monday, so you normally don't expect as active of a trading afternoon pre-holiday, but again, with all of the crazies that we've had of late, look at this already. This thing just blew the freaking roof off of 10. Incredible. I love it. All right. So Michael or Alex, Lawrence, let me know if there's anything else that you'd want me to look at here. Just check out before we finish up. We'll look at Benzinga Pro here before we finish here. Just take a look from there as well, or on YouTube if there's any other comments from you. PHAT, we have VKTX. I don't know if this is back to all-time highs here. Maybe we'll check it out. Michael saying DraftKings was choppy, but gave us several opportunities. Yeah, it did. We called that out earlier off of 44, so we can go to that one. I forgot to mention that just during this meeting, but VKTX definitely breaking all-time highs. Actually did from last week, in fact. Yeah, I'm going to add this to our list. More expensive and also has a big bit of a spread, but all-time high situation, and it's one that we're a little familiar with here. We've traded the stock on and off over the years because of news. Yeah, you could tell that we were following DraftKings, Michael. You could tell that we were following DraftKings to have my chart all marked out. Yeah, right now at this point, though, a little slow for my liking here. It's hanging off of 45, so if you're short, you're looking for a lower low. As far as momentum goes, though, I think that we saw enough of it as far as meaning I don't think that we'll see the type of momentum that we saw on DraftKings earlier coming up. That's basically it. I think this has become a little tired here at this point. APLT, still kind of hanging in there. It's not nearly as close to the highs of the day that I'd want to see at this point, but you know what? We're in a giving mood. We'll kind of add it for right now. All right, folks. So, hey, that's it. Enjoy the weekend. Otherwise, I'll be back on at 3 o'clock. Rich is going to tag me out at 3:30 for any one of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, etc. Again, enjoy the long weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday for you. And then, again, hey, if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me over a quick email, that being josh@ctutrading.com. I'll post that there just as well on the lower left of the stream coming up. But on the top left, if you're interested in joining us inside our live trading room, just scan that QR code with your phone, with your camera, get your week-long access to our trading room. In fact, actually scan that QR code and call our office. So specifically, your education advisor could reset the trial so it doesn't begin on Monday. Obviously, with the holiday coming up, we want to give you a full 5 days, not going to jip you there. So please call our office on top of scanning that QR code so you can have that trial begin on Tuesday. You get the full-fledged five days there. All right. But again, hey, for Margaret, Lawrence, Alex, Laureen, Mario, all of our students there in chat, we'll be back on coming up pretty soon, folks. Take care.